Hi, welcome to Lullaby. I'm Laura, and today we're going to needle felt a baby owl. The first thing we do is we take stuffing, and with the stuffing we make the base shape of our owl. You take sewing thread and you use it to bind the stuffing into the shape that you want. And our baby owl, which will look like this, is an oval. Now normally I like my pieces to be really hard and firm, but for the baby owl, since it's probably going to be for a child, it should be soft. This. So you start with your beige for the owl body and you needle felt it all over the shape. Now this process can take 10 or 15 minutes to cover the entire owl. And at the point that you want to smooth the owl but not change the size, instead of felting down like this, you change direction and you felt at an angle. And now you're smoothing down the wool and not actually making it smaller, because the longer you felt, the smaller and the harder the piece will become. So I'm felting down the wool. When the wool is completely felted, it will be something like this. And a time-saving tip is you can take your piece, wet it in warm or hot water completely, squeeze the water out, and then put it in the dryer. And the dryer felts for you, so you can felt a lot of pieces and you can felt them really quickly in the dryer. Save yourself a lot of time. Okay, once your owl body has been felted, you need to make wings for him. So you're going to flat felt the wings by taking the wool and putting them in the shape that you want them to be on the sponge felting surface. And with flat felting, you have to remember to turn the piece over often or it will get felted to the sponge and then rip apart when you try to pull it off. So you turn it over often. And now, I guess owl wings look like the shape of a leaf. You can also put a piece like this in the dryer, wet in the dryer, and you let them felt in the dryer till they're almost completely dry, but maybe just a little bit damp. And you should watch them, because the longer they're in there, the smaller they get. Okay, now we want to put a little white face on the owl. So put the white wool on the face in a circle, felt it on. And we want to smooth the wool, so I'm felting at an angle now. Okay, now I want to make him a little beak, so I take the orange, or the yellow, sorry. I roll it up with my single needle, felt it together. So felt one end to a point and leave the other end unfelted, and the loose fibers will help you to connect it to the face of the owl. And to smooth this a little bit, roll it between your hands. Now pull this part out Place it on the face. Felt it on. So here's the beak on your little owl. Now, let's surround the face with some fur, with some fluffy feathers. Take the brown, put the middle of the brown here, and felt it around the face. Felt it firmly so it can't be pulled out. Now this is going to be trimmed when we get all the brown around the face. Normally you never cut wool, you always pull it apart like this. Once you cut it, it's very hard to felt again, but this is a special effect, so that's why we're going to cut it. Okay, once your owl face has this fringe around it, take your scissors and trim it. Then you take the needle and get rid of the longer areas and felt in the middle just to make the brown stay in place better. Okay, baby owl is almost done. Now take the wings, put them on the sides, felt them down. Again, if this is for a really small child, you should sew the wings on with a needle and thread and then felt on top of them so that the small child can't pull the wings off and then they become a choking hazard. Now the last part of the baby owl is his eyes. So he has big yellow eyes with big black pupils. Take some glue. Glue the pupils in the middle of the yellow. And then glue the eyes into the owl. Again, if this is for a very small child, these should be sewn down or felted in instead with wool. And there we have our baby owl.